Welcome to a new episode of a quick guide to Lotro. In today's episode, the Yondershire. Oh boy, they did it again. Standing Stone Game blessed us another time with a beautiful extension of Eriador. And this coming only 2 months after the Angle of Mythital. In this update number 33, they added the so-called Yondershire. This is a northwest extension of the Shire, which now connects actually the Shire with Evernight. And if you thought this is just going to be like a little patch of grass with a few hobbits and a few hobbit holes, well, then you were wrong. Because this is a full-on new map, which is almost or even as big as the actual Shire. To demonstrate this, let me show you how long it takes to ride with a horse from one end to the other. So for this I'm going to start at the connection to Danaephia and ride all the way westwards to Evernight. And as you can see, I have a little timer there that measures the time it takes me to get there. As you can see in this graph, this is approximately the route that I'm taking. Well, and as you can see, it took me like around 7 minutes to get to Evernight, which is quite a long time, to be honest. Well, this is quite a very wholesome place that basically resembles the Shire. With all its typical things like, food. More food. Food and food. Alcohol. Pipeweed. Alcohol and food. And of course, alcohol, food and pipeweed. And of course, some of them that had too much of all of those. But of course, and not to forget hobbits. Hobbits and hobbits. Like a lot of hobbits. More than in the Shire, apparently. And believe me that I say that they forced me to ride drunk through the entire Yondershire to check out all the taverns. And guess what funny guy is also here? And yes, of course, there is post-satchel quests as well. If you would stand here in Evernight and look across the River Luin, you would find those ruins. Like me personally, I was always asking myself for the past 15 years, what are those ruins over there? Well, there was even a thread on the forum where people sneaked and glitched out of the map to get to those ruins and called it like Belagos, one of those ancient dwarven ruins from the First Age. Well, you can actually go there now, and it's called Lungobel, and it's nothing special but just some Artedine ruins, which is infested with goblins now. Well, one could say this is basically the Shire 2.0, just with, let's say more ruins, I guess. Which is obviously not a bad thing, because you cannot get enough of the Shire. With that being said, let's jump right into the content. So the Yondershire has quests which range from level 20 to level 23. It also comes with its own set of deeds that, gives you virtue points, as well as quests that you can complete for additional virtue points, so it's also good for high levels. So the Yondershire comes with 4 bigger hobbit villages that you can visit. Let's start with probably the capital, which is called No Bottle. This is found here. So No Bottle basically reminds a bit of Mickle Delving, and it's the biggest town you can find in the Yondershire as well. The Yondershire has, I think, around 3 side story or main stories that you can play, and all of them kind of play out here as well. The next town we have a quick look at is the Longcleave, which is found up here. This is a very cozy little town which is found in a valley. Like all of those 4 villages have their own taverns, so also the Longcleave has one. It's a very cozy little town here, as you can see, and you will find also a bunch of animals walking around which are for some reason are hungry or injured, so we will find that out in the story why. So the next village you have a look at is Thighfield. Well, this is definitely one of the places where the extroverts live, because it seems like everyone is having a huge party here. Like you see a lot of hobbits outside, like partying and eating and, doing other things. Also the next village is Gamwich. And this is also the last one. So Gamwich is a town located around a pond, which kinda reminds a bit of Overhill in the Shire. You can also find the hobby master here that teaches you how to fish. So with the towns basically showcased, it also has to be said that there's a lot of like beautiful landscapes to discover in the Yondershire. You can also find more of the like, you know, mountain areas, which you probably don't find that much in the Shire. What I also personally really like about this new map is that it now connects the Danaephiattv map, like physically, to the rest of Eriador. Like, there is not this portal anymore that brings you into a completely different map, you know, the Danaephiattv map. Like, when you actually ride towards Danaephiattv, you see this nice transition between the fauna and the culture of the hobbits to the ones of the elves of Lindon. So technically the Yondershire is also the southern border to Evendim, so the more you go towards the north, you will also encounter more of the Arthedain ruins that then basically merge into Annúminas. Like one of those ruins is, for example, Ostlagora found here. So if you have seen my videos, you probably know that I'm like a lore nerd, and unfortunately those places, they don't really have a canonical meaning. So they don't really appear in any books. But that doesn't mean that they're not important. Like, not only is there also this demographic and culture change of like hobbits to elf the more you go to the east, but as I've said, the more you go to the north, you will encounter more of those man-made ruins from the Kingdom of Arthedain. And this also adds a nice little cultural and demographic transition between hobbits to like the culture of men, you know. Like, for example, this place here where you can even see the Elendil statue here. This is called Bar Farof and is a ruin found in the northern part of the Yondershire. Well, this is pretty much a small version of Annúminas and kind of proves that this is like an ancient ruin from the Kingdom of Arthedain. Here you can see a ruin called Terhat, which you can see here in the picture. You can also see behind the mountain in the background parts of Annúminas. So that was basically landscape history and all that stuff. Let's come to like the rewards. So the Yondershire is coming with a new reputation, which is called the Yonder Watch. Each quest in the Yondershire also rewards you with those tokens here, so-called Copper Bounders coins. So in each of the 4 villages that I showed you, there is a reputation trader that has the same items, so it doesn't make sense to check all out of them. What you can spend your Copper Bounder coins on is, well, of course there's a port to, in that case, no bottle. And in that case, the Underwatch comes with a lot of cosmetic items for your house. You can also get this goose companion called Hank. With all that being said, we are at the end of the video. Overall, this is a very high effort and quality update to the game. I was fortunate to have this champion here, which is basically on the perfect level to do this region. And it took me around 5 to 6 hours to get like all quests done as well as deeds. Like recently they released quite a few of those low level regions and extensions to the Eriador world. Which in my opinion is awesome because it gives you as a veteran player, but as well as a new player, kind of a variety where you want to level. Like you're not forced to stick in one certain region to gain your levels. I also really love how, well, the Yondershire looks like and how it fuses those different cultures together of elves, men, dwarves and hobbits. It's a nice little angle point which was needed to connect Danaephiattv finally to the rest of the world. Well, me personally, I'm looking forward to level my next character here as well, instead of maybe rushing to the Lonelands or North Downs. So this is the end of the video now, and I thank everyone for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, feel free to check out, all my other guides to Lotro videos. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, or check me out on Twitch, where I usually stream the Lord of the Rings online in the evening for European time zones. With that being said, thank you so much, and see you in the next video. And by the way, the Yondershire also has like new audio tracks which you can listen to a bit now.